Okay, so how can we make our children achieve the impossible? Good afternoon everyone, my name is Sharon McNally and I am the director and founder of Shakespeare's Kids and Little Shakespeare's here in Cumbernauld. And I would like to share with you a little bit of the adventure that I have had with the children here over the last 8 years, and perhaps give you an insight into why I believe these young children achieved so much in such a short time. Now, when my own children were born, I decided to spend more time with them. I would pursue a career in teaching, and I chose to do a degree in children's literature and Shakespeare, and these are two subjects that generally don't go hand in hand. Now, during my studies, I wanted to share everything that I learned with the children, so I would tell them all of the stories, I would share all of the poems with them, I would dress them up and we would act out the scenes, or we would grab some popcorn and watch a film version of that particular story. Now that was great for children's literature, but with Shakespeare it was a little bit more tricky, until I discovered a book by Lewis Burdett called Shakespeare Can Be Fun, and we discovered the play Macbeth. Okay, and that is why I'm here talking to you today, because I had no idea what that one story would do, how it would capture children's imaginations today and transform not only so many children's lives, but mine as well. So with this book I had so many ideas, but I had no drama experience, no idea how to put that into action. But what I did have was an imagination and a whole group of children that believed in what I could see. So I contacted a few Shakespearean organisations to see if they were interested in coming up here to Scotland and to try out some of these ideas that I was keen to look at. And I was told then, once I explained to them the age of the children that I wanted to work with and that I wanted to use the original Shakespearean text, I was told that it couldn't be done. All right, and telling me that it couldn't be done meant that nobody had tried, and that just made me more determined, because I never bought into that ethos that a child's age defines their potential, and that's very, very important. So I've always taught the children that if you can picture what you want to create in your head, if you can envision it, then you can create it. And I could clearly see this entire project and what it could bring to the children. I knew I could bring something special, and the fact that no one else said it could be done just made us all the more determined. And if no one would do it with us, then we would just have to do it ourselves. And let's be honest, when it comes to Macbeth, who better to bring that story to life than a group of Scottish school children? So what did we do that led to these children achieving so much and exceeding everyone's expectations and their own? First of all, when I set out to begin working with the children, I was already very aware of how difficult life can be for a lot of children out there and the issues that they're dealing with, from broken families to bullying to gender related issues to low self-esteem, and especially learning issues like autism and dyslexia. And I was also aware that a lot of children are just incredibly shy and a little bit afraid of trying something new. So it was really important to me that their time with us was a way to escape all of that for a little while, and maybe to give them tools to deal with life by building their confidence and making them believe in themselves. But for me, the emphasis had to be on fun. We had to make everything exciting. Now, the first thing that a child is told, and I think this is hugely important and possibly what makes us a little bit different from other groups out there, and something that I would take on board, are two key factors on why the children settle in and why they transform so quickly when they're working with us. Number one is, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. All right, so if a child comes along to class, they want to grab a mic and get up there and sing, then absolutely wonderful. If a child would rather watch and listen and learn and then take that step, then that's absolutely wonderful too. And my second rule is that they can be whoever they want to be. Now in storytelling, that's quite easy. You can encourage a child. If a little girl wants to be the Wicked King, then fantastic. If a boy wants to play Lady Macbeth, then that's wonderful too. But in life, it's hugely important that these children understand that they can be whoever they want to be. There are no rights and wrongs. And in my role, I wanted to create a space where the child could truly be themselves, where they could be loved and appreciated for and valued for who they are. That nothing is expected of them except to care and support each other, and very importantly, to have an adventure and to have a lot of fun. Now, when I set out, although this was going to be quite challenging, I wanted to involve every single school child who would like to take part, every single child, irrespective of any social or learning difficulties they may have, because storytelling should be available to everyone, and every single child has something special to offer. And if you let a child know that you are glad that they came along because you really need their support, or you really need their ideas, or if a child comes to you and they're feeling nervous and you say to them that you need them to watch and let them tell you what they think of your crazy idea, then you're making that child feel important and part of what you're doing right away. You are building a bridge between yourself as the adult and the child by making them understand that you see them as a little person, but with ideas and opinions as equally important as your own. I've always believed that it's hugely important to be completely honest with the children, and I was completely honest with the children I work with from the very start. I had never done this before. No children had ever done this before, and I had no idea where it would lead. But that's what makes it so exciting. That's what makes life so exciting, that if we take one small step, we've no idea what will come next and then what will follow. And we were about to learn that. Now, I had so many ideas to share, but I promised that I would guide the children and provide everything they required and everything they needed. But ultimately, this is going to be their adventure, and I would take the lead from them. So for me, it was important when doing something creative with children to put the children in charge. Now, I can honestly say that I have learned so much from listening to the children and their ideas than they will ever learn from me. And it was important that from the beginning, every child knew that their voice would count and that everyone's ideas had equal value, no matter what their age or experience. Now, when I'm working with kids and they have an idea, I want to hear it. No matter how crazy or impossible it may seem, it is their idea, and so it has value. And believe me, the very best ideas come from the children themselves. And that is what makes us so special. What we ultimately create and what you can create with children is brought together by the children themselves. Every single child should be treated like a star. So look for what is unique about that child and what they enjoy, and focus in on that. It might be that that particular child likes to sing or dance and they're particularly good at that, but another child may have a brilliant imagination and lots of fantastic ideas, and yet another child might not have either of that but be very focused on looking after the other children and just a caring child at heart. And it's so important that all those children understand that what they have to offer is of equal value and equally important. They have to understand that whatever it is they bring, they are wonderful, that they are amazing, and that you are so proud. Never push the child when they are uncomfortable. Instead, fill them with so much love and belief that they do not doubt themselves, and then watch those children transform because you believed in them. Now, every child is different. Every child is uniquely special in their own way. So allow that child to express it in their own way. Now, where did this lead? Now, because no one else had done this, which was awfully exciting, the children that I wanted that I worked with, wanted to share what they were doing with their family and their friends. And so we grabbed a couple of iPads and started to film what they get up to at class. And what I noticed was two things. When a child is alone with other children and they know their parents aren't physically watching them, then they behave very differently, as you probably know. But that could be because there are no expectations and no pressures. And to capture what I could see for everyone else was really quite special. So when we gave them a camera, we gave them a platform, and we gave them creative license, they felt free to explore ideas, and what they created was very special. Now, because of that, we set up a YouTube channel for them, and that created so much excitement because they knew that the world was interested in what they were doing and what they were achieving, and that makes a child feel important, that not only you think they're wonderful, but everyone else does too. And those children began to change, because once they began to get praised for what they were doing, they wanted to do it even better. They would look at their performance and try and improve on it, or look at what they were doing and try and do something even more fantastic. And so it was the children that suggested we make a film. And even though I had no idea how we were going to do this, or if it was even possible, because they had suggested it and they believed, I had to say yes and take that step. Now, because these children believed they could, they have filmed in locations such as Coleshill Estate in Kilsyth, on the grounds of the Battle of Kilsyth itself, where we had 60 young children aged just 5 years old, covered in blood with swords, creating their own film version of Macbeth, and only a few of those children survived. And then we took 80 young fairies and elves to the forests of Chatelherault Estate in Hamilton, and we filmed A Midsummer Night's Dream. And then the children got invited to film the Macduff family massacre from Macbeth in front of the fire in the banquet hall at Stirling Castle itself. And this is because they took that little step and they believed. Now, this was a challenge we were told was beyond the abilities of the young children, because they stuck to the original Shakespearean text, edited down, but the original text. So they are the only children in the world to have achieved this. And when we began to work with teenagers, they decided that they wanted to bring those plays to the stage. And although that was something, again, I had no experience in and was truly terrifying, I had to say yes to that too. I may have had doubts, but they didn't, and so we had to go ahead with that. Now, if you can convince a child to go onto the stage in front of a room full of people, you give that child a platform. You are telling that child that what they have to say or what they're going to do has value and that they are worth paying attention to. So it's not about how important or how good they are up there, or what they actually do when they're up there. It's the message that you're sending them, that their voice or their presence matters. That shouldn't matter if that's on a stage or just in life. That child should feel that their voice counts. Now, we have always been praised for being more like a huge family that any child can take part of, and that's probably the one thing that I'm most proud of, that I've always believed in keeping all of the children together and supporting each other. So our older children will come along to work with our little children and support and encourage them, but mostly to have fun with them. And then our older children will see how those younger ones look up to them and how much they admire them, and that makes them feel really good about themselves and encourages them to take that role of mentor very seriously, and it brings out the best in both groups. So going back to that age does not define the child. I think all ages can learn something from each other, and that is a key factor in the success of the children. So we have 6-year-olds working with 16-year-olds to deliver class. We have 14-year-olds delivering week-long summer camps. And during this pandemic, when we faced so many restrictions, it was our 9 and 10-year-old ambassadors who ensured that we could celebrate our older children's achievements by hosting the award ceremony on their own. They had that much confidence, and the children we're working with are already being recognised by West End performers, appearing in children's television shows. One young boy has published his own book, another is designing bespoke musical theatre costumes at just 14. They're being commissioned to produce art, and we have 15-year-old children choreographing full-scale musicals, and they're doing all this whilst still in high school because somebody gave them an opportunity and accepted their ideas and valued what they had to say. They've been nominated for the People's Project, their Young Scot Awards, Community Achievement Awards, for what they have done for each other and also what they have done for the community of Cumbernauld, because we never for one moment bought into that ethos that their age would define their potential. So if I was to tell you how to make your child achieve the impossible, it would be to make their life an adventure, because that's what life is, after all, a huge adventure, and you never know what's going to happen, but that is part of the excitement. Eliminate fear and have fun. Your passion, your determination and your love, along with the child's, must be greater than your fears and your doubts. So turn your concerns and your fears into but what if, and see what happens. Be completely honest and work together as a team. Dream, very important, and use the full power of your imagination. Believe there are no limits to what you or your child can achieve and what you can do together. Find and embrace that special quality that shines inside each and every child, and most importantly, be the person you wish you had in your life when you were young. Thank you.